portions. Equal portions. Equal portions. Equal portions. Equal portions. Afternoon. I'm your host, Seychla Mira, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of Equal Portions. Today we'll be joined by Maddie Guzman, Executive Sous Chef at The Steady at Morrison House. Then we'll continue our discussion on the Food Justice Film Festival. There'll be a bit more discussion than usual this episode, but I think y'all will really enjoy these segments. We're going to head right into our discussion on the Food Justice Film Festival. Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm joined by one of our producers, Jasmine Lawrence. Thanks so much for joining us today, Jazz.
Thanks for having me, Sage. So happy to be here.
Of course. I've invited Jazz to join me in discussing the Food Justice Film Festival. And today we'll be speaking on the film The Smell of Money, directed by Sean Bannon and produced by Sean Bannon and Jamie Berger. Jazz, do you want to give us a quick intro?
Absolutely. So my role here at Equal Portions is really to help research, write, and develop content for the program. I'm really excited just to help continue growing this platform here on WPFW and just like building our community. I have a background in like production and fashion, and I'm currently based in New York City. But to kind of kick us off, I'd love to do a little this or that. I know that we are both really into documentaries as well as films, but I'm curious, Sejal, what this or that, documentaries or films?
Right now, I'm leaning more towards documentaries. I just think this is like the peak time for documentaries in terms of like watching them, because there's so many different sources. Even on YouTube, you can find like documentaries from like the 80s or clips or homemade film documentaries people have made themselves. I truly think we're in a golden age. What about you?
I love that. I think for me, like I definitely feel like they are both forms of storytelling for sure. Documentaries, I think at times can feel a little bit heavy, and they definitely deal with difficult topics sometimes, and they could be a bit dense, but I think they're also investigative, which I really love. I think I really love like the fictional aspects of film and like the story building aspects, because it's like very much a play world. And lately, I think for me, I've been really into like thrillers. And so I've in like how they're shot, like the cinematography, the concept, like I feel like it is very different. So I have been more into films. But I think when it comes to like, you know, food justice and like just, you know, very serious topics that are like affecting our communities, like this documentary was super, super effective. So I'd love to kind of like get into the summary of it all.
Right. So the film Smell of Money, it takes place in eastern North Carolina. So we're introduced to residents in counties within this area who've been living right next to hog farms since 1986. And so for those who aren't familiar, a hog farm is a farm that raises pigs for sale and consumption. But now many of these farms are participating in CAFO, which is concentrated animal feeding operations. They have these massive barns, and all these pigs are confined on top of each other in this tight space. And they even have these huge fans that go all day, because the pigs will die from their own gas if these fans aren't going. So like I said, the hogs are packed in, and they're just ruminating in their own feces and urine until the feces and urine overflows into a lagoon. And these lagoons are basically just cesspools. They can be the size of a football field, and in North Carolina, there's about 9.5 million hogs, and they produce over 10 billion gallons of waste. When these lagoons fill up with all this waste, they spread it over a field, and they usually do this through a sprinkler system. So essentially, they're just spraying this water, like into this wastewater into the air. So North Carolina is one of the only states where it's legal to spray this untreated waste into the air. So land that people have been on and owned since right after slavery is being contaminated by this pollution. And this kind of brings us into the concept of environmental racism. Old slave maps were overlaid with maps of the hog CAFOs, and they discovered that the majority of hogs in CAFOs were in eastern North Carolina along the Black Belt. Elsie Herring, who we meet at the beginning of this documentary, is a native of Duplin County, North Carolina, and she became one of the lead activists against these corporate hog farms, specifically Smithfield. She joined the North Carolina Environmental Justice Network as a community organizer to fight these injustices. She was a key plaintiff in the ensuing lawsuits against Smithfield, where there was 500 individuals who were part of these suits in total. And although the affected residents were suing Smithfield, they received a lot of outrage from other farmers and supporters of these farmers. However, the jury ruled in favor of the affected residents. They were awarded $97.8 million.
Wow. Yeah. I know when I, saw the film itself, I was like, oh my goodness, think of the worst thing you've ever smelled. I know for me, it's normally like household smells, like maybe it's, food that's been sitting too long in the garbage, or like if I'm outside, maybe it's a garbage truck that's passing by. So like things that are very much related to trash and waste. And obviously, like, I don't know if you know this, but, the bathrooms obviously can harbor smells, but like,
right.
If you flush the toilet with the toilet lid still up, fecal matter is like spraying
all over your bathroom.
And so, like, as I'm watching this, documentary, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, can you imagine what it's like to have fecal matter sprayed throughout your land, throughout your home? Like that's, and then you're breathing that in, like that is,
it's touching your skin.
That.
You feel the sensation of it landing on your skin. I would literally go crazy. I mean,
one of the residents was, holding like a town hall where they were talking about, or they had like some organization come in to swab areas throughout the house and kind of like do a study of like, what was really being contaminated in their community. And they're swabbing the outside of the refrigerator or the countertops. And it's like, oh my goodness, like, wow. Like that's really horrible, and that really leads to like a poor quality of life for the residents, like just physically, but also like for their health and for like
they mentioned
their state of mind.
Everybody on that street, like when they were going up and down interviewing all those people who just lived on the same block, they were saying every single person on that block had some type of health problem, and a lot of people were using like respirators to like breathe and stuff.
Yeah, and it feels like they're forcing them off the land, which is, that's like a form of violence. Like it's these developers that are just claiming these areas, and they're bullying these people off of their land.
Right.
And I don't know, it was really hard to watch.
Yeah, just such like a lack of regard for your fellow human. Like you just don't care about anybody else, what anybody else has got going on, anybody else's quality of life, because the only thing that matters to you at the end of the day is your own profit. Like they have their own dreams, they have their own hopes, and this is their land. They were there first.
Yeah. And, I think any normal, human being, they want to feel safe. They want to feel comfortable in their own home. There's a couple of quotes that were really sticking out to me throughout the documentary. Someone was just generally mentioning, like, what are we doing to our environment and what are we doing to the communities that live near these facilities? Obviously, it's legal in North Carolina to spray this waste, and I was like, I think they had mentioned that it's one of the only states that this is allowed, but I was like, so what other states are you allowed to
Let's get into
spray
it.
untreated hog waste into the communities?
Right.
So there was 3 states that had popped up. It's Iowa is one of the another largest hog producing state in the U.S. They allow the application of this liquid manure from hog confinements onto fields. It is regulated, but it's still permitted. Illinois also allows for this land application of livestock waste under certain conditions, and same thing for Minnesota. They allow all this, and this is not just like hogs in general, this is like all animal feedlots, but like specifically hog farms, which produce some of the worst, emissions. And there's restrictions in all of these, but it's very much still allowed. And I think, speaking to this documentary in general, like they are 50 feet outside of like these people's property, and wind is still blowing. Like it's still reaching them. This is still affecting their airways. This is still affecting their homes. This is devaluing the property of their homes. Like this is still,
right.
I still don't know how this is legal of any kind. But to your point,
Money
like, you know,
talks.
they're right. But there's such a responsibility, I think, to be mindful, as you mentioned, to, you know, not just yourself, but like how your actions are affecting others, how our consumer habits are affecting, you know, these corporations, and how, you know, the role that we can play. And I'd love to kind of maybe speak to that. I know we had talked through in the last few episodes about how we can be more mindful of our consumer practices and of our buying practices, and
Right.
and because generally, like, buying meat and like producing meat has a lot of harmful effects on the land, and there's nothing inherently
Huge
wrong
toll.
with that. But, you know, I think being able to limit some of those practices are really important, and I think require us to be more mindful of our practices and how, you know, they're affecting others. For myself, I grew up moving around a lot, so I never really felt that strong of a connection, I think, to a neighborhood or a community in that way that I was living in, and never really, you know, was from one place. But I know what it, you know, feels like to feel really comfortable in the place that I am, and no one wants to feel like they're being run out of their own home. Renee Miller's niece had mentioned like another thing that I think had really like stuck with me. She was like, at least consider us. And it's a lack of consideration at the end of the day, to not consider people. I think when you make that kind of decision to, like, you know, get rid of the waste in this way, or get rid of, really just to get rid of the waste in that way.
Yeah, it's because you
So,
don't
like,
view them as people. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I think we discussed a little bit the the financial aspect of it all. Like, people below a certain financial level, like if you're, you know, someone who has a lot of money, you're not viewing those people as the same type of person as you. You're very different. And then it's the racial element. You know, the majority of people who are affected by this are Black people and people of color. Some people do not view Black people and people of color as people, or not people who are entitled to the same rights that they are. So it's like on the more western side of the state, where it's a lot more predominantly white. None of these farms are over there. These farms are all on the side of the state with the most Black people and people of color.
Yeah, and if you have like no recourse, you have no like money that's really backing it. It's hard to really have money to stand against these type of corporations. Like, you know, you have to keep fighting, and they talked about that a lot in the documentary.
Right.
But like, you really have to, you know, do the work of, like, you know, reaching out to other people that are not even in that community to like hear you, to like really stand
Right.
with you, because you really can't do this on your own. I was
Exactly.
seeing that they had like shared a study from the Washington Post that, you know, air pollution from farms are killing like about 18,000 people per year, or contributing to 18,000 deaths per year, which is super wild. Because like I mean, I don't know. It's just really, really hard to hear that these are practices that are legal and that are customary. Like, they are normal in
Established.
society. Yeah. So I don't know if, or I'm sure you saw this when it came in, Hurricane Florence. Obviously,
Right.
you know, natural disasters are going to have a great effect on these hog farms as well. And when Hurricane Florence came in, at least 50 hog farms were flooded. And I thought it was the craziest thing to see in the documentary. Literally, the little pigs were like swimming around, but it's
The
like
water.
they kept talking about pig heaven, and I'm like, these pigs are trapped in this farm, and then they're getting flooded out. What do you mean, pig heaven? Whose heaven
Please.
is this?
My God.
Whose heaven is
Okay,
this?
who's having?
No, it was really sad to see. A couple of other quotes that I wanted to like kind of stick out, and curious if there were any other quotes that kind of like stuck with you. The idea of, like, you know, what is the real cost of what we want? Who is paying the price for what we want? Really requires you to think beyond yourself. We in this country have got to see each other. We cannot render each other invisible. Your pain and suffering is connected to my well-being. It was actually
That's a
by
good
Cory
one.
Booker. Us seeing each other should
Right.
motivate more courageous love. We should engage ourselves and our community to a commitment, to really think about like what it means to live as a collective community, and think about like what it looks like for our actions to be responsible, or for us to be responsible for each other's actions, and for us to reap all of the consequences and benefits of what we put out there. I'm curious, like, if there's anything that you feel like you're currently trying to commit to in the world that's like, outside of yourself for your community. I know you had mentioned like, I want to look into like limiting meat consumption, or like just like 1 or 2, meals.
That's my big thing
per day
currently. So, I've kind of, I'm a foodie, obviously. Everyone knows this. And my close friends and family know I actually am someone who very much enjoys meat. I enjoy meat a lot. So with all these aspects, comparing that to my concerns about the environment, my concerns about food justice, it's been my own type of, self journey. It's like, even though I do enjoy meat, I recognize the negative effects that has on, everybody. And it's like caring more about just than yourself. So it's like I have to make my own sacrifices. So I don't eat red meat nearly as much as I used to. I try to do a lot more like seafood. And then when I try to do a seafood, like there's certain types of seafood that's even better to go for than other types of seafood, because I've done story of food segments too on the overfishing of like crabs and stuff like that. So it's even relegating yourself on that. It's like, can't have as much as that as you want. It's like, yes, it can be hard to give these things up. But like you were saying, Jazz, we really are all in community with each other. And being in community with each other means that we have to make sacrifices for each other. So we all can't just do anything we want to do all the time. If we act like that, then we act like Smithfield. We act like these corporations where it's just like, I come first. I don't have to have consideration for anybody else, and it's my way or the highway. And we can't operate like that. That hasn't gotten us anywhere. And it's also this mentality of like, well, I'm only here for this certain period of time. I don't have to take in consideration the people who are coming after us down the line, because all these things, all these practices that we do now, they're really going to affect people in the future generations. And, that's part of it, is just caring about your neighbor now and caring about your neighbor in the future.
Absolutely. I totally agree, because I totally agree. And I think once we really start, like you said, really weighing the costs, because it is nice. We are grown. We want to do what we want. We want to work. We've worked hard. We want to be able to just do what we want and have that choice, but we do have to weigh the cost. We do have to understand that is going to just inherently impact others. And I love that you're, looking at that through that lens. I think for me, I've been really, our food waste segment was really sticking with me and resonating with me. And I've been thinking about my buying habits, because I'd like to think that I do a good job of using all of the ingredients in my fridge before, or in my pantry before I go out to buy new things, and not letting things go to waste, eating all of my leftovers. I know not everyone is a leftovers person, but I'm gonna eat a leftovers.
Me too. I'm gonna reuse them.
But I think that's been the biggest thing that I've been trying to focus on, is my waste use, and the amount of waste that I am putting out in the world, and trying to reduce that, whether that be through food waste, trying to start collecting some of my compost. I actually have a church that I go to, and they have a community garden, and that community garden, you're able to use your compost there, and add to this soil that they've already got going. Trying to, like I mentioned, really be mindful of the portions that I'm making, and really getting into freezing my foods a lot more, putting dates on them. But I think that waste portion, because waste is so, as we've already kind of talked about in that episode, waste contributes to so much, just landfills, the space, but also the emissions that are going off, the quality of life that it's doing for our climate, as well as our health. So I just really want to lock into
Lock in. It's time for us all to lock in.
Yes,
Lock in about the environment. Well, thank you so much, Des.
Thank you so much as well. I really enjoyed this, or like getting to like kind of talk through this, and I'm excited to kind of like revisit some of the other documentaries. Like, I think there's a charge on us, so ready to drive forward.
I love that. Join us next week. We'll be continuing with our coverage of the Food Justice Film Festival, and post your thoughts on our Facebook page or send us a DM on Instagram. And as always, if you want more information, you can also reach out to us through our email. We're always happy to provide sources and just more information for you all to get connected. Afternoon, folks. Today I'm here with Maddie Guzman, the executive sous chef at The Study at Morrison House, which is located in the Morrison House Hotel in Alexandria, Virginia. Thanks so much for joining us, Maddie. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. My full name is Madeline, so on a lot of restaurant papers and my chef jacket it says Madeline because everyone tells me it's more professional, but I like to be called Maddie. I have been a chef since graduating the Culinary Institute of America in 2017. Wow. I've been cooking well longer than that. And I have currently, for the last over a year and a half actually, been the executive sous chef of The Study at the Morrison House, but I am a dual property chef in which we have two properties under the same company. So I am hired with Sage Hotel Hospitality Concepts, and we have the Alexandrian and the Morrison House, both which have two restaurants inside, but I oversee The Study primarily, but I am also in charge of King and Rye.
Okay.
My top feeder.
And where is King and Rye based?
It's also in Old Town Alexandria. They're 4 blocks away from each other, so it's pretty cozy. Yeah.
Nice.
One is more of a boutique. They're both autograph collection hotels through Marriott. So they're very, very unique inside. They're both unique themes. And they're both in the heart of Old Town Alexandria. King and Rye is on King Street, which is the main street in Old Town Alexandria. And the other one, Morrison House, is on South Alfred, which is kind of tucked away in an alley 4 blocks away, but They're super close.
Okay, so people can easily ping back and forth that they want to try out both in the same day.
Exactly, and they're different concepts. King and Rye is whiskey, rye, bourbon, southern plates, and then the Morrison House is more upscale fine dining, and we do Mesoamerican cuisine.
Okay, nice. And you said you've been cooking long before you attended the Institute. So when did you start cooking? And I guess what was the background on that? What inspired that?
So when I was in high school, they offered a culinary program. It was just opening up. So I was like, oh, what a great idea. So I went into the culinary program. It was just teaching you the basics there, but it all started from cooking with my mom and my grandma at home. I mean, I'm a Latina woman. Cooking fresh meals was something that I always cherished so much growing up. And I loved how it was a chance to sit around the table and connect. My family can be a little chaotic and we all have different schedules. But sitting around, chatting, having a fresh meal is always where I think nobody can be mad at the dinner table. Maybe some people's Thanksgiving dinners are different. But yeah, usually people love each other at the dinner table, sharing a nice warm meal. So my mom taught me to cook from a very young age, and she also knew how to cook from a very young age. And that just kind of spanned into, I can make a career out of this. I'll never go hungry, and I will always have money in my pocket.
Like, check all the boxes. Check. And you said that your high school had a culinary program. Did you by chance? You went to Patriot, right?
Sure did.
I felt like that's the one I remember having the culinary program. I was jealous when I heard about that. I was like, wow, they got a culinary
Shout out
program.
Miss Stevenson, tiniest little chef I've ever met next to myself.
Oh my gosh. Oh, how tall are you?
I'm 5 foot, and she was like 4'11".
Oh, wow.
She was mighty, small but mighty.
Oh my gosh. What was the Culinary Institute like?
Very rigorous. So my current chef, Tomas Chavarria. He's the executive chef of both properties. He's also a CIA grad. I think he's 2012 or 2015. Yeah, 2012 sounds right. And then I also work with CIA grads in front of house. So it's kind of like, it's a really big alumni. CIA grads are everywhere.
Nice.
But it's important to note that his training, although it was similar to mine, was a lot more rigorous than what I felt like mine was. And I currently have an intern that I accepted from the CIA, and it feels like it's getting a little less rigorous with each year that passes. They have the spirit, but they don't have the same branding, we'll call it, because the CIA was originally founded for returning veterans, I believe. So it literally was a culinary school for military. So the service and the training was military. We're in each class for, in each class for, I believe, 3 weeks or 2 weeks. I forget. They're super short, but you need to be there every day or you literally fail. Like 2 absences is a failure. You have to retake the class. You're up super early. You need to be in uniform. They check fingernail length. Are you wearing your toque? Is it stained? They're super rigorous. And I remember I kind of loved that because it meant that everybody was held to the same standard.
Exactly.
And as far as the education part, because you still need to know things as a chef, not just manual things, the actual classes were really helpful too. You know, we had menu costing and recipe development and food knowledge, like knowing all these ingredients that some people don't even ever see in a grocery store. But that's what the world is comprised of. It may not be local to you, but it exists somewhere and someone's used it for something. Exactly. So all of those classes were super intensive. We took a wines class, which is mandatory because you also need to know when you come out of the wines class being prepared to take the sommelier level 1 test. Like that's how rigorous they are. But as the years progress, I feel like they know a little less because maybe you get away with doing it a little faster. I don't know. But it was awesome. Campus life. It's based on the Hudson River. Like seeing the seasons change literally on the Hudson River. I think it used to be an old temple. It's gorgeous. It looks like a big castle. It looks like Hogwarts. But it was kind of juxtaposed by the fact that you were grinding it out. Like you were locked in when you were there. I know a lot of people have found a way to have a good like work balance type life balance, but it was hard when you were submersed. And for me, I was away from home. I'm from Virginia and I was living in New York by myself. Right. Very new.
Very different, kind of like almost the opposite in ways.
Yeah, but the solidarity was that everyone was there for the same thing. It wasn't the same as like going to university and you're like a sociology major and they're studying, you know, pre-med. Everyone was there for the same thing. It was all food related. It was a bunch of food nerds just grinding it out. So it was fun.
Was it a big school too? Is it a big class sizes?
No, I think the classes stay around 20 people because, I mean, you can't even teach that many people to an extent, and you need room, literally room to lay out 20 cutting boards and stuff.
To do your stuff,
Yeah, and meats class was literally in the walk-in. Like, you were in a fridge the whole class. And the fish class was also in a walk-in, so it's almost like we have our own lore of like, oh, you got to get your thermals, you have to wear 2 pairs of pants, 2 pairs of socks to be standing in class but covered in fish guts all day. Definitely not a normal experience for some people.
No, but I love that though. That's so different from like anything I know.
It was so unique. You would never, ever, ever imagine that. They do offer boot camp classes, but it's more of just like a fancy, quick course for you to, I don't know, learn with chefs. But the fun part, like really going through it, it was his own little micro world. We had our own recycling, our own composting bins. Like it worked by itself.
Yeah. And the fact that the alumni network seems so close and that you all are like working together still.
Everywhere. If you look at some of these TV shows, I mean, I think in The Bear, he trained with an ex-CIA chef or a graduate CIA chef or something. I mean, they're everywhere. And a lot of the Michelin star restaurants, CIA chefs. Chipotle was created by a CIA chef, I believe.
Really? Wow.
Everywhere. We're everywhere. Yes.
Everywhere. Now I got to look it up. Now I got to check it all out. I will. How do you feel about the bear, by the way? Bring it up. I'm like, how does a chef feel about the bear?
Oh, my chef loves it. My intern enjoys it. I cannot watch it because, I mean, would you like to go home and watch a show about your day?
No.
And as far
So
as
it's accurate, though, huh?
No, it's pretty accurate. And sitting and
Okay.
watching the episodes, the few that I've watched, it just gives me terrible anxiety.
Oh my God, me too. I'm not even a chef.
And you're not a chef, exactly. It gives me anxiety knowing not only what he's doing right, but how he feels, how he truly feels in that moment when something's not going right or everything is just one thing after another, after another, after another. And then to like smack it on top, you've got like a health department stopping in. Oh my God, I'm triggered. So
They're racing against the clock all the time, like saying.
I've always known for having my hand down on my wrist, like every 30 seconds. And I'm also known for exaggerating. If it's 1:25, I'm like, oh my God, it's 1:30. He's like, you have 5 minutes. I was like, no, I don't. The 5 minutes are gone.
So what does a day-to-day look like for you then as an executive sous chef?
Oh man. Well, the fact that I'm dual property comes in a lot because we have events at both properties, and I'm still in charge of helping the banquet chef. So if he's got 3-4 breakfasts happening at the Alexandrian, and there's one happening at the Morrison House, he's not two people. So I become his second person. So I could be in as early as 9 a.m. sometimes and be leaving at 10 p.m. because my day is like 3 different hats. So I start doing banquets or helping him plate and present the banquet, breakfast or lunch. And then I often have meetings with the rest of, our leaders and managers in the hotel from like 12 to 2:30 sometimes. We've got marketing, we've got leadership, we've got resume, BEO. There's all these meetings. And then after I'm done with meetings, I usually leave my team with their prep list well early in the morning. And I come in and I make sure if everything's ready to go for service. We open at 5. So I do finishing touches, garnishes, twirls, all the small things, as long as they have the big things, taste their sauces, go through with them, and make sure that if we have counts or pars. I do a pre-shift meeting with the front of house team to make sure they know what fish we're selling, what are the cheeses of the day, what is our amuse-bouche, have them taste it, give me feedback, talk about the sauces. My team is thoroughly informed, we'll call it informed, about everything going on with me and with our menu, because I make sure that I hate when a server goes, let me go ask the kitchen. First of all, you're wasting time. Second of all, now I'm not comfortable in your awareness of the situation. So my servers need to know on the spot what they can and can't answer. If it's something crazy, then of course come ask the chef. But can this be done dairy free or is this gluten free? I need you to know that right then and there.
Exactly, off the bat.
Exactly. So we have our pre-shift. Everybody's happy. Usually I make family meal because we don't have a reservation for the first 30 minutes. And if we do, it's like a walk-in. So it's just the way it's worked out. I make family meal for everyone. We share a meal. And then the night gets started. At around 9:30, I let them start cleaning, make their prep list for the next day, go check the inventory, make sure if there's anything I need to order, seafood, anything like that. And then finally I go home.
Oh my gosh. How many hours is that? How long is that day?
Minimum 10, maximum 12 to 13.
Okay. So long days. And does the menu change frequently? I heard you said like you had like wines or cheeses of the day. Is that something that's like in flux, or you kind of have it very seasoned?
Well, the best part about the study, it only has 26 seats, if I'm not mistaken, in the dining room. There's 3 tables surrounding the bar, like 8 or 9 bar seats, and then a collective 25 seats in the actual dining room. So we're allowed to have more of the menu doesn't rotate, but seasonality and things like that. I get a lot of freedom to change things. So we have a cheese board, but that's artisanal. So whatever comes in, whatever we get from our Firefly Farms or whatever we see on one of our favorites is Chef's Warehouse. They keep a lot of fun stuff in stock. So we change cheeses around. If they get a new cheese, we try a new cheese. Our guests try a new cheese, so on and so forth. And then with the fish, I also like to switch it up because I like to talk to my fish supplier, see what they have in
Right.
stock, see what's special, what's something that only they have. So that's why I like to switch those things up. But our menu only changes once a year. At least it's supposed to only change once a year. We do have special fun menus in between that. For example, we do our tasting menu on Thursdays where you can come into the study and get we call it the autobiography of the study, where you can taste your way through the whole thing. It's
Right,
5
yeah.
courses for $65, which if you look at a tasting menu anywhere else, no offense, it is very cheap compared, but the value is there, I promise.
Oh, okay.
We've been told before when people are like, oh, this is so awesome and this is like Michelin style stuff, because we really are pretty upscale. We're hoping to get in the Michelin guide, at least acknowledged. We want someone to walk through the door and be like, wow, this is awesome. I don't need a star. I just need someone to validate
To say, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wishing you the best of luck with that. I hope y'all get that.
Yeah, I hope so. But we have the tasting menu. We have a select bar snacks menu because we felt like the dining room had something unique. We wanted the bar to have something unique. So we made a bar snacks only where you can sit down and only get that menu there. So we only change the menu once a year, but we have so many fun things and activations, specials, Valentine's Day menus. We still apply to all of the fun stuff.
Yeah. And is all your stuff locally sourced, or do you try to get some of your stuff sourced locally? How does that work?
So thanks to our old chef, Peter McCall, he established some really good relations with some good farms. He no longer works there, and he was actually my mentor when I first got into the kitchen. He was my first chef when I was an intern, and now I have an intern. So isn't that sweet?
Look at the circle of life.
It's the circle of life for sure. And he made some really good connections. We currently carry at King and Rye. I don't use it in my menu because they don't all fit, but we do have good connections with farms. We work with Autumn Olive Farms. Pork. They bring us pork. I'm trying to remember. Shenandoah Valley Chickens. I remember their family. When I used to work with Peter, their family would come out in their minivan and drop off chickens for us. That's how small the operation was. And now they have trucks ship stuff out. And then Smoke and Chimneys Trout Farm. So those are the big ones that, like, I have seen the farmers. They come in, they talk to us. What's up, chef? I've got this for you. Other than that, we still try to stay pretty local when it comes to, like, the cheeses. We use Firefly Farms, but due to demand, they haven't been able to keep up too much recently. But I mean, they're still a great farm. They produce great cheeses. So whenever we can
They're
get
in Virginia,
them in the door,
right?
Yes,
I think
believe
they
so.
do wine too, right? I think I've seen
think
Firefly
so.
Wine Cellars or something. I think I've seen that.
Yeah, I think so. I just always see their label on our cheeses, and then sometimes I ask, hey, can we get more of this one? And they're like, oh, it's out of stock. And I was like, dang.
That's how you know, though. That's how you know.
Exactly. So I'm happy for them, but I need to keep that cheese in my door. So we do have good relations, but we also obviously rely on, regular produce suppliers, U.S. Foods, Keeney. Keeney does really great. Samuels and Sons is our fish purveyor, and I really like the quality of what they have. Their representative comes in and is always letting me know, like, we can get you top cut, we can get you sushi grade. He's always saying yes, which I love to hear.
It's like, I want to hear that. Yes. No,
yes, chef. Exactly.
Yes, yeah. And what's your favorite dish to make?
Oh, man. I think that one's definitely a catch-all because as chefs, funny enough, I don't like to cook at home, but it's because my kitchen's so clean. I don't want to dirty it. At least at work, I make my intern clean the stovetops. I don't want to clean the stovetops anymore. So I do love cooking Korean food. That's kind of in my comfort because Korean food, well, I'm lactose intolerant. I went to Italy. I was an intern in Italy as well. I was at Toscana Saporita, which is an Italian cooking school for American tourists. So I was a CIA chef setting up the classes, teaching the classes alongside our instructor, Sandra, which she was awesome. But the point is, I can't have lactose anymore. And so a lot of American food is heavy in cheese and cream. And So I've started avoiding American foods, can't eat my true passion, Italian foods. So I found that Asian, specifically Korean food, because I also worked at a Korean restaurant, it doesn't have as much dairy or cheese. It has spice, which is a little hard, but I've actually learned to train my palate, and I love spice. So it's the one food that I can make anytime, and I know I won't get a stomach ache from. I know I won't have gargle gut from. So I've kind of taken to cooking more Korean food, or even just eating rice with my meals. As a Latina woman, I still love rice. Now I just eat, short grain rice.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been a switch. So I like cooking Korean food. I make a really good bulgogi. My brother even asked for it for his 22nd birthday party. That was the one
Wow.
thing. He was like, "Can you please make bulgogi for me and my friends?" And I was like,
That's such a compliment.
"Okay, sure, yeah."
I'll make it.
And everyone loved it. Even my mom invited her friends over who were Salvadorian, and they were like, "What is this thing called?" And they had Korean bulgogi, and they loved it. Yeah, it was a hit.
See, people just have to try different things. It's like there's good food in like literally every part of the world, every culture. You just got to try it.
I mean, you can only make meat so many different ways, but meat is still meat.
sure.
If you like it, you're going to enjoy it all these ways.
Exactly. And is there anywhere that we can keep up with you to like follow your journey and what's next as well?
I definitely plan on being able to study for the foreseeable future. I just really like the freedom that it brings me. I haven't been in a restaurant that small since I was at Moko Mandy, which is the Korean Cajun restaurant that I used to work at. That was I think it closed because of the pandemic, because of coronavirus. It closed, but that was a very small cedar restaurant, and I had a lot of freedom and I had a lot of creativity. And then I went on to bigger restaurants like Great American Restaurants. I worked for Great American Restaurants for a little bit. And I liked the stability because it was like a franchise and you had all these systems in place. But what I really get now at the study is full freedom to create, to say, to make. I mean, our amuse-bouche is a daily creation, weekly more so, because it's really hard to create everything new every day. Sometimes you just don't have brain power for that. But at the beginning of the week, our amuse-bouche is sent to the tables as, I don't know if you know what an amuse-bouche is, but it's a fun palate, I believe is what it means. It's meant to open up your mouth. It's the first thing you eat when you sit down at a table. It's usually complimentary, and aside from any intolerances or allergies, it's just a freebie. It's whatever I want it to be. If I have a bunch of corn in stock that week, I'll make a tiny elote tamal, or I'll make a little other street corn bite. I'll make whatever I have. But along with that creation, like, it helps me think of new things. It helps you not feel the monotony of creating the same dish every day, day in, day out. It helps you feel like you have at least a little bit of autonomy, a little bit of say in what goes on in a restaurant. And for myself, I don't think I can let go of those freedoms after being in so many restaurants where you're just told to
do this,
just follow. Yeah. So I could see myself at the study for a while longer. I am hoping to get our CDC in, so if anybody is looking, we are hiring. I need someone to be able to take over, because the thing is, I've been neglecting some of my office responsibilities. You get me? Because I'm always in the restaurant because I need to be, because that's just what I've been focusing on so much. But I definitely need to step away a little from the kitchen and focus more on menu development, menu costing. Like, these things aren't free, I got to make sure that everything is still checked off. So, in the future, I definitely want to branch out. I do love food writing and food. I mean, I follow so many like foodies, I love that it's something that people can just do, but it's a whole different level. It's like when you're an architect, you can't walk into a room and not comment on like the framework or something. Like, something always comes back to you. So everybody goes out to eat. I love to go out to eat. And when I do, I just, I can't help but notice small things like, wow, that server is so attentive, or the kitchen staff is quiet back there, which I'm like, why can't I hear them? That's good that I can't hear them, because they're not clashing things around and crashing things about. But I just think I'm going to keep chefing it up. I want to become an executive chef. I think that's pretty much the ceiling you get to when you're a chef, and then you find your way out into the world and start your own company or buy a food truck. So I want to get up there, see what that seat feels like. And then, who knows? It might break me. Who knows? I mean,
Let's pray it doesn't.
Stressful. I know. It seems so stressful. I don't think I will ever not love food and cooking. I just may be done with the bureaucracy of, having to deal with companies or having somebody always tell you, no, this needs to fit this standard or this needs to do this. So, but I'll find my way about, I'm sure. I have an Instagram. I got my old one hacked, but I have a new Instagram called, I think it's at @therealmaddie _Guzzy or Guzman. Let me double check. And I can text it to you or something if you wanted to put like a link.
Yeah. I definitely will. We'll drop the link for it on our Facebook and Instagram so people can follow you as well.
I don't post much, but it's The Real Maddie, Maddie _Guzzy, Guzzie.
Nice.
But Chef Tomas is always posting, and so I just repost his stuff because I'll let him do the work.
It's a team effort, exactly.
Yeah, he's verified on there too.
Nice.
His stuff has so many followers, and restaurants are always tagging him back and stuff. So I just repost him whenever he gives me a quick little tag.
A little shout out. Yeah, you're like, this me.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Time lapses, and I hate them. I haven't told them that I hate them, but I only hate them because they look so funny. I don't like time lapses.
Well, now I gotta go watch them. Now I gotta
look like a little squirrel back and forth.
Oh, like bouncing around, yeah, chaotically.
Yeah, I don't know how he looks so poised and like he's this tall, tattooed man, and he's so poised and like, and I'm just like bobbling around like a tiny little dwarf. I hate it, but it's fine. I'm still working. God. I'm just doing what I need to do.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Maddie, for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time out today.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you.
Of course. And we'll drop all of Maddie's information, like we said, on our pages. And you can also reach out to us over email as well if you want to get more information. All right. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too. Afternoon, all. If you're just now joining us, welcome back to Equal Portions. I'm your host, Seisha Lamira, and I'm so grateful to be a part of a station that is moving the needle, being a part of a group of people who are willing to stand for what's right and not be silenced. The individuals at WPFW work hard to bring our viewers the information they need and the content they enjoy. At this time, we're in need of your support in order to hit our pledge drive goal. I'm calling on our viewers to help us reach $500 by the end of this hour. If you're a fan of music, activism, history, and engaging personalities, then WPFW has every type of programming to fit your mood, and above all, is a station that deserves your support. But we can't do that without you. Like I said, we're currently working towards our pledge goal of $500, and I know we can get there. You can support by calling 800-222-9739 or by giving online at WPFW.org. That's 800-222-9739 and WPFW.org if you want to give online. We're also on Cash App, $WPFW-FM. I want to thank all who've contributed so far, and I hope we can get some more in the future.
I'm so sick of my imagination. Fell in love with a stranger. Heart breaks harder in my head. It's a made-up mess. It really shouldn't hurt like this. Step outside to find some proof that I exist outside my body. Sometimes I'm not too sure. Really should be getting sober, but instead I Google things to do when you're sick and tired of yourself. In my head, you play. In my head, you'll be safe. No longer afraid to be alone, because I'm really not. But they'll never suspect a thing. But they'll never suspect a thing. I think I'll stay in my imagination. The world is softer in my head. There's a good life hiding under your bed.
That was Cameron Cade with Imaginary Lover. As always, I'm your host, Seisha Lamira, and we thank you for joining us on Equal Portions. I want to give a special thanks to our producers and co-hosts, Zion X. Richardson and Jasmine Lawrence. We hope you enjoyed the episode and continue to stay up to date with us on our socials.